We do. Republican Senator Ron Johnson out of Wisconsin, chair of the Senate Homeland Security Committee. And sir, good morning to you. This is first time we've had an opportunity to talk to you since the attacks of Tuesday. What questions do you have? What do you believe is the next phase of this story, Senator?
Good morning, Bill. Well, obviously, I think the question of everybody in law enforcement is this guy connected to other potential terrorists throughout the United States? So that'll be something that I'm sure the FBI is tracking down right now. From my standpoint, you use the word phase. I think that's a good phrase to use because I think we are entering a new phase. We just had Secretary Tillerson and Mattis in front of Senate Foreign Relations on authorization for use of military force. And one of the questions I asked him is in recognition of the fact that the physical caliphate is coming to an end. What is going to be the next phase? How are we going to address this metastasized, evolved threat? We now have troops in 19 different countries, is what Chairman Corker pointed out in the hearing. I think we've entered a whole new phase in this long-term generational war against Islamist terror.
We may be interrupted here in a moment if the Attorney General references this. But since that has not happened yet, here's a few tweets from the president sent out. He says, would love to send the New York City terrorists to Guantanamo, but statistically that process takes much longer than going through the federal system. It continues. There is also something appropriate about keeping him in the home of the horrible crime he committed. Should move fast, death penalty. Your feelings on that, sir?
Well, our main imperative should be to get information from these terrorists. And sometimes that might require sending somebody to Guantanamo. It sounds like in this case he waived his Miranda rights and he's singing like a canary. I hope that continues because we do need to find out if there's any different connections. But what I want to see, and I think what the American people want to see, is swift justice. Our standard is innocent until proven guilty, beyond a reasonable doubt. In this case, there is no doubt whatsoever. So I hope the justice system gives him his due process, but I hope the justice is swift.
Do you take issue with our justice system? Some have suggested the president did that yesterday.
Our rule of law is crucial, and we have probably the best rule of law in the world, and that's important for our system. But at the same time, in these unusual situations where there is absolutely no doubt, I hope that the due process doesn't drag on for years.
There's also a debate out there about our immigration system, as you know. The president said this about the diversity visa program that was summarized the following way in his cabinet meeting.
Diversity lottery sounds nice. It's not nice. It's not good. It's not good. It hasn't been good. We've been against it. So we want to immediately work with Congress on the diversity lottery program, on terminating it, getting rid of it. We want a merit-based program where people come into our country based on merit.
So I think there are two questions in there. Do you support getting rid of that program?
Yeah, Bill, our legal immigration system is horribly broken. I think what we're hearing right now is there's probably bipartisan support for ending that lottery system, so let's end it. But part of the problem is, one word I wish we could just outlaw here in Washington, D.C. is comprehensive. Let's take a look at these problems bit by bit. Let's secure our border. Let's make that commitment. Let's get rid of some of the stupid laws we have on the books that do potentially endanger this nation. But let's do this in a step-by-step basis. It'd be a whole lot easier than trying to get to some grand comprehensive bargain.
Yeah, I think you answered my second question. You would favor a merit-based system then, as the president described it.
Absolutely. We let about 1 million people into this country in terms of legal residency each year. Only 14% have anything to do with work. 65% are family related, 22% are diversity, refugee and asylee. About 5% is that lottery diversity system. It just doesn't make any sense. We really do need a merit-based system so that people coming in this country, and let's face it, there are hundreds of millions, if not billions of people that want to come to this land of opportunity. It should all be based on merit in terms of what can you add to this great country.
I just want to probe you on one last question here. He was living in the shadow of this mosque, literally in the back parking lot. That's where his home was, his apartment in New Jersey. It's a few blocks away, we understand, from one of the 9/11 hijackers where they were living as well. I mean, you put all this together, now you have two cell phones that had hundreds, if not thousands, of videos and pictures. And, we talk about online security, but what can we do under the law when you know that, well, there's a possibility, frankly, when you download this amount of material and carry it around with you on your phone? I don't think our system is set up to even ask questions among those who are watching that. Do you, sir?
Well, you know, these online companies do have algorithms, for example, finding child pornography and making sure that that is blocked. I think this is a very legitimate discussion we should have is, can we use those same kind of algorithms and block this type of hate incitement? I think that's something we definitely should explore.
Well, you would favor that, okay? Now you get in the whole issue of freedom of speech and First Amendment rights and what you can and cannot do. Is that where this debate ultimately goes?
It's part of the equation, definitely. You know, what is safety versus security and civil liberties? You know, I'm all for free speech, but we do limit things. Like I say, child pornography we don't allow rampant on the internet. So I think this type of Islamic terror incitement should also be blocked.
Last point on that. If there's a manual that's literally labeled just terror tactics based on what John Miller and NYPD described yesterday, why not take that down? Well, what's taken so long?
I think we should. Again, we do have free speech in this nation, but we need to really take a look at those laws, and I think we should block that type of those manuals that are just basically giving people the guidelines on how to commit these terrorist actions.
Senator, thank you. You got your work cut out for you. Homeland Security Chair there, Ron Johnson. Thank you for coming back here. The Republican from Wisconsin. Thank you.
A massive manhunt is underway in Colorado. Police looking for the suspect in that terrible shooting at a Walmart. We will have a live report from Denver. Also, the national anthem debate with the NFL continues. A rare interview now as a Supreme Court justice is asked about it. Clarence Thomas, watch.
What you're doing is so important and so critical to the things that matter. So I don't know what it is that we can say instinctively we have as a country in common.
It's me and my best friend.
Owning new Tena Intimates has pro skin technology designed to quickly wick away moisture to help maintain your skin's natural balance. For a free sample, call 1-877-GET-TENA.
If you've been turned down for a mortgage because of credit or tax return issues, Cash Call Mortgage now has credit and income-solving mortgages with no closing costs. Just call 855-890-CASH and we'll work with you to find a solution to your mortgage issues.
Did your senator or congressman get elected by talking tough on the national debt? Will they stay true to their words? Or did they promise you one thing, only to do another? Right now, Congress is talking about tax cuts that will add trillions to our national debt and hurt our economy. It's time to tell Congress, don't borrow more money from China and leave more debt to our kids. Keep your word. Tax cuts shouldn't add to the national debt.
Tonight, Shannon Bream is live previewing the president's trip. From the big meetings to the big implications. Our Foreign Affairs Chair details what's at stake on the next Fox News at Night.
Hello. Let's go for a ride on a Peloton. Let's go grab a couple thousand friends and chase each other up a hill. Let's go make a personal best, then beat it with your personal better than best. Let's go bring the world's best instructors right to you. Better yet, let's go bring the entire New York studio live. Let's go anytime, anywhere, with anyone who's willing. And let's go do it all right here. Ready to go? Peloton.
If you or a loved one was diagnosed with mesothelioma or asbestos-related lung cancer, call now. Americans who worked in shipyards, refineries, steel mills, power plants, or chemical companies